A lot of you have been waiting for this moment. This is the pro gear. This is where it gets real tasty and real expensive. Some of you have been waiting for this and some of you have been dreading this. This is where you get that tasty, good, high-end, beautiful gear. I just love it. Like this tasty little camera I've got off camera here. Or some of you are dreading this because it gets real expensive real quick, and we're about to drop some serious money on some camera gear. Personally, I've got about $125,000 to $130,000 in camera gear at any given time. So if that scares the crap out of you, well, welcome to photography. It's about to get real. Okay, let's rig you up something like this. We got a pro body on here. This one happens to be a DSLR, but let's get you a pro mirrorless body. Between the body and this lens, we're gonna put on this 1.4x teleconverter. There are some drawbacks to using a teleconverter, like you lose a stop of light. This 2.8 lens becomes an f4 lens. There is a slight degrade in image quality, but on these really nice ones, like this is the version 3, they've got new ones out by now that are even better than this. You're hardly going to notice, or not at all. I don't even notice a degrade in image quality when I'm using this version 3. Now the version 2 and the version 1, yeah, I noticed, but it was worth it. Now, I don't even notice it, so it's great. Then, I want you to get one of these. Now, they might not make this yet, and as the recording of this video, they do not make this lens for the mirrorless body directly. You'll have to get an adapter. So you might have an adapter in here, so you might have a camera, an adapter, a teleconverter, then the lens, maybe. So depending on when you're watching this and what manufacturers have come out with, because hopefully they come out with one of these bad boys soon for all of the mirrorless cameras. But as of right now, the mirrorless Canon ones don't have access to this beautiful lens, but they will. They'll eventually make this. Now, that's the 120 millimeter to 300 millimeter lens, but with that 1.4x teleconverter on it, you can do the math. That makes it 168 to 420 millimeters at f4. So the f2 lens becomes f4 lens, but if you're a pro photographer, guess what? You're shooting strobed. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Professional photographers strobe their shots. That's what we're doing here. So if you haven't already, go watch those videos on lighting 101 to 301. That's going to catch you up to speed on strobing arenas, strobing barrel racing specifically. It'll catch you up to this point. I want you to have 5 lights, 5 strobes, 500 watt second or better strobes, so you can strobe this barrel race like I do in that lighting course. I want you to have taken that lighting course, okay? And shooting at f4 is what you're going to do anyway. So letting this f2.8 lens become an f4 lens is exactly what we want to have happen anyway. So no harm, no foul there. This beast of a camera is going to take a beast of a tripod and a beast of a gimbal head, okay? So I want you to spend between $200 and $600 on your gimbal head, and let's say between $200 and $1,000 on your tripod. Okay, we're getting into some expensive stuff, but guess what? This rig here, this is like a $7,500 camera, a $500 teleconverter, and a $3,500 lens. So we're talking some real money here. All that adds up, and you're gonna put on a $1,500 tripod and gimbal head underneath of it. Not a big deal, okay? This is heavy, so you gotta have some support equipment that can support it. You want a gimbal head that is going to still make this free floating and easy to use. This thing weighs in about 10 to 15 pounds depending on how I got it rigged up. And then you're going to have, you know, a trigger on top of that, and you're going to have some other accessories. And now's the time when you need at least 15 or more, probably 20 memory cards, because your booth is going to have some tied up. You're going to need plenty with you in case they get backed up to do that card system like we talked about in those booth videos. If you remember that, go watch those. And this chair, time to upgrade your chair again. Once again, we got to upgrade this chair. Now, the low boy chair was great, and it was a fine chair, and it got you by, but let's get a more comfortable chair, okay? Even if you got to be up a little bit higher, that's okay. The angle is going to suffer a little bit, but your back, your body, those long, super long days, hard work, you got to take care of yourself. And that's more important than having slightly better pictures from a slightly better angle, all right? So that's the trade-off. If you can find a low boy chair and you're still comfy in that low boy chair and it's very comfortable, very well built, keep it, then buy that. You know, whatever it takes. Get yourself a nice chair. Make sure that you are taking care of yourself. This is your profession. This is your career at this point. You're making good money. You should be making hundreds of thousands of dollars at this point. And it's no big deal to buy a nice chair. Okay, so treat yourself. If you're one of those people that just doesn't want to take care of yourself, this is the time. You have, let me tell you, break you the news. You got to take care of yourself. It's really important. Time to upgrade that cooler. If you're like me, I like the Yeti Hall. I had one given to me. It was great. It was one of the very first Yeti Halls there ever was. My friends said, I'm going to give you a Yeti. And I said, I would love that. That would be great. Cami and Darren Peterson with the BFI, they gave me a Yeti for shooting the BFI. The Yeti's a big sponsor of them, you know, but I said, I don't want one because it doesn't have wheels. You know, they weren't making them with wheels. And lo and behold, guess what showed up at my door? A Yeti with wheels. I'd never even seen one before until I had one in my hands. It was amazing. So I got that sponsored to me, and that was awesome. So by now, you've probably got some sponsors, and you've got some people that want to give you some really expensive, nice gifts. But if not, you can afford it, okay? So go out, make sure you buy yourself a nice cooler like that. Pelican makes one too that is very cool. It is a very nice cooler. It has different things on top. I like the Yeti a little bit better because that was also my table, right? I set it next to me. I have it as my writing desk. It's big enough for my drinks and my food and everything else. So it's nice. And it's on wheels. It's very heavy duty. I can yank it through the dirt without worrying about it breaking. It's really important. So your attire is going to be a lot like what it was when you're intermediate. You know, you're still in the arena. You're still wearing Western wear. But now I want you to go get your whole wardrobe dry cleaned and pressed before each and every event. This is important. You got to look the part. You are a high-end photographer. You are a prestigious part of that event, okay? You're important to the look and feel of that event. And now, at this point, high-end events, high-end prestigious events are booking you, and you need to look good while you're in the arena. Chances are that you're going to be on TV at some point as well. So looking the part, don't be all dirty clothes, baggy clothes, you know, grungy. Don't look gross, okay? Try to look the part, try to look nice, be presentable, be friendly, you know, always be caught with a smile on your face, that sort of thing, and you're going to go a long ways.